Hello friends, myself Sriranga Korde. Now we would like to understand a new topic and that topic is arrays. It's a very interesting topic and it has several usage with respect to applications when we develop in various languages including C. So when it comes to arrays, first we need to understand why do you require such a facility. Now let's take a very practical case and a day-to-day example. Let us say that you have several students, say 500 students, and you want to basically get their percentages. You also want to get their say marks. Another example can be say you have say thousands of employees and their salaries are there. Another examples can be like you have bank accounts and for each person in the bank account you basically want to understand what is the bank balance. Similarly, it can be other examples like insurance premium for several people. When I say several people, the number obviously is large, like 500,000 like that. So if I want to deal with this type of scenario, say marks of student in a class of say 100 or 200 like that, then it becomes humanly impossible for me to create hundreds of various variables, say student 1, S1, S2, S3, and then accordingly I store the marks. It becomes humanly impossible to keep on creating the names. Otherwise, I could have even created the names with say the names of the student. Again, it becomes humanly impossible to manage. That means now I require some solution where I basically make use of that approach and then handle this situation where I have several student marks or say several people employee salaries and things like that. So if I want to deal with this, then essentially we make use of something what it is called as arrays in C. However, is it a completely new way of dealing? No. Why? Because in mathematics we are used to say subscripted variables. So when I say subscripted variable, let's try to understand it quickly and then from there we will proceed towards arrays. So let me just take you to the notepad and here you can say that if I want to create a subscripted variable in mathematics, then we could have created like x and then probably little below that there is an x1, then you have x2 like that. Obviously it is not here then x3 like that. So it's a subscript, the way in which we do it in our Word document and things like that. That means I can keep on doing x1, x2, x3 like that. Okay. Now as such, this is a variable x and then I will say that okay, it is x1, x2, x3 like that. That means it can be say marks. So suppose if I just say m, then m1, then m2, then m3 like that. That means as a complete entity, I could have just called is m and then I will say m of 1, m of 2, m of 3 like that. So this concept essentially is used when it comes to arrays and we essentially create an array. That means now what we are doing is let's first try to understand it. Okay. So what exactly is array now? You could have guessed it from here. Essentially now we are talking about the very first point is it's like a collection of similar elements. So when I say similar element, it's very important. Like it's like the percentages of students, or it can be like bank balances of several people. It can be say premium which needs to be paid for several people. Then it can be like salary, basic salary for employees and things like that. So we are now talking about similar element. Now when I say similar elements, there is another internal thing or which gets attached to it and which is a technical thing which is like the data types also. So we'll obviously talk about it a little later. So data type also plays a very important role. Then comes the second point is like now the way in which we are habituated in mathematics like x1 x2, here we essentially start with 0. So you basically start with 0. Okay, and then from 0 you proceed and then instead of say n, that means the last element is n, you will say n minus 1. That means say 0 to 10 if you want, then 0 to rather you want 10 elements, then you will say 0 to 9. That means essentially it is 10 elements or 10 things that you are trying to refer. That is what is important. That means you are starting with 0. So the last one will be 1 less than basically the thing that you are trying to make use in an array. Okay. Then, as I have told you, array is a subscripted variable. So that is another interesting thing, and it's from more from the academic point of view. Now, how do I use this array? So that means when I want to use this array, I basically have to, what should I do? I basically have to know its type. That's what I told you earlier. So type and size. Size is also called as dimension. Okay, right now I will use size. That is easier for us to understand. Okay. Why? Because now suppose if I want to store say marks of 100 students, that means I will say I require an array which can store marks of 100 students, and when I say marks, then I will assume it is an integer right now for the time being. If it is a percentage, then I will say percentage of marks or percentage of students, then I will say it will be float. Why? Because now the percentage can be say 80.1, somebody may get 70.45 like that. So that depends what type I am referring. So the data type is very important. The data type we need to know. That means before using an array, that means before using array, you need to basically declare data type. So you need to declare data type and you need to declare the dimension. Okay. Now is this compulsory every time? Need not be. When you are trying to initialize then and there itself. Okay. So size not required. That means it is optional. Optional when you are initializing, during initialization, when initializing then and there itself. Okay, so that is, I'll explain you this properly. Okay, and then the very important point, and that's why arrays plays a very important role, is array elements. Whatever we are basically going to create, they are always in a successive memory. That means they are essentially in a contiguous memory location. Okay, so consecutive or successive or contiguous basically are the terminologies that we will use. Okay, so contiguous, GUOUS, or successive also it is called as successive. Okay, successive memory locations. So let's see this now. So I have told you like it's a collection of similar element which was with respect to data type I have told you. So how do I basically declare it? So I can have integer is the data type. So that's what I told you. You declare a data type. Then I will give the name of the variable, say student marks. So marks, and I want to store marks of 100 students. So we use the rectangular bracket 100. In that we will put 100, and then that means what we have done is we have declared data type integer. So data type is integer. The name of the variable is, that means the subscripted variable name or the array name is marks, and it can occupy 100 students marks. That means it's a dimension or the size essentially is 100. Okay, so that is very important now. And when I say they are in contiguous memory location, so will talk about it and we will understand it little more later. But just to give you right now idea, suppose if I say that now how do I access it? The way in which I have told you in mathematics, we have x1, x2 like that. So here I told you we start from 0. So you can have marks of 0. That is what we will have. So marks of 0 is the first one, then marks of 1 is the next one, like that, then marks of 2 is the next one, like that. So I can basically use this way and I can initialize it. So how do I initialize it now? So I can initialize it like this also, like I can each and every element I can initialize it. Okay, so that is the way I could do. Like I can have here marks of 0. Suppose if somebody is having say 70 marks, so I can always write like this. Okay, that means I am now accessing each and every element using the subscript, and I told you it starts with 0. That means it will go on till marks 99. Okay, that is what basically I tried to tell you. 0 to 99 essentially is 100. Okay, So that's a very important point. Another point is, I told you this dimension is optional, or this size is optional. Right now I'm interchangingly using this dimension and size, but later we will learn when we go and understand 1D, 2D arrays and all that. So probably I will speak more about it and it will become more clear that time. Okay. So right now, suppose if I want to, I don't want to tell this size, then I can basically do it something like this. Let's say int, and let's say we will have, say, roll number. Okay, so let's say another array, roll number. Okay, and let's say it's, I will just, for the timing I will say 10. Okay, that means I want to store roll 10 roll numbers, okay, of various students. Okay, then what should I do is, I basically can, instead of giving now 10, I will get rid of this. I will simply have empty this one, and then I can use curly bracket, and in the curly bracket I can simply provide the roll numbers. Okay, so suppose if the roll numbers are, let's say, 1050, then 1055, say, then 2001. Say these are some roll numbers for the people who play game. Okay, so whatever, that's why I'm using some random number. Okay, say 3005. Okay, like that you basically will give. So let's say 5, I have provided 4, and let's say 4034 is another roll number. Okay, so here you will see now 1 2 3 4 5. That means now this roll number, essentially, when this line will get executed by the C compiler, it's going to allocate 5 memory locations, 5 mem locations. Why? Because I have initialized it only 5, and I didn't give like this 100 or 5 or something. If I give 5, that's okay, but normally when you are initializing it, then you should not be giving the size here. Why? Because if you give the size and let's say there is a conflict, then you will end up in trouble. However, let's say you write here 10 and here you only provide data of 5 roll number, then the remaining 5 will have garbage value. Okay, and then at times you may find it difficult to deal. Why? Because you will think, okay, it's a 10 size array, but actual data given is 5, and then you may try to, when you are writing programs and when you use loops and all that, then you may end up in trouble. So when you are initializing it then and there itself, then you should not give the size. Okay, so don't give the size. Okay, so that's essentially these things one needs to understand before we really start using arrays. So in the further videos, now we will actually start using these arrays. And another important point which comes with respect to arrays is no bounds checking happen. Now this is a little tricky information, but I am just sharing it to you. Why? Because now I have created an array of size, say, 100, or I have created an array of size, say, 10, and I want to access, let's say, 110. Then will it work? It need not work. It will crash. Why? And I'm saying it did not work because apparently you may feel it has worked, but actually it has not worked. Why? Because at some point or the other, your compiler is going to, that means your program will throw an error. Okay, it will crash. That means, okay, so no bound checking. Why? It's a simple way of putting it. Let's say you have result done in, say, plane tickets you have booked, say plane reservations you have done for, say, 5 people. Okay, or another example can be, say, you have booked 5 train tickets. Okay, and you basically are allotted only 5 seats or 5 berths to travel, and let's say you say, okay, now I will go with, say, 10 people or 8 people. Then obviously the person who is going to do the ticket checking is not going to allow those extra people. They say 8 people go, then he or she is going to throw out those three people. Okay, because why? Because you only reserved 5 seats for train tickets. Okay, so that's the simple example, should help you understand what I'm trying to tell. However, this checking will not be done with respect to the program that you write in any of the languages, including C. That means now it is your responsibility or programmer's responsibility to do the bound checking. So all these things which I now have told you, in the further videos we will understand how we work with arrays, and then how do you access each and every element, then why they are contiguous, that also we will understand it, and then obviously we need to understand with respect to the bound checking also. I hope you got this introductory video with respect to arrays, and we will deal with practicals, or we will deal with usage in the further videos. Thank you.